Hello, humans. It's Rob here with Not a Robot Podcast, DC Comics Review Show number 134, the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes. And with me, as always, is Brandon.
Hello, everybody.
And Josh.
What would you do for some good comics? I'd pay the shit out of them.
I'd go to the comic shop.
That's all you
brave
would do.
That's Blizzard.
Brave of Blizzard. Would you buy them on Amazon?
If Comixology was working. Yeah. So, if you ever want to get in touch with us and complain about our bad jokes, just send us an email to comics@notarobotpodcast.com, and you can get us on Twitter as well at notarobotcomics and Instagram at NARComicBooks. Plenty of avenues to tell us how silly we are. And if you feel like supporting us, visit buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcasts, where you can get access to our Discord server, and you can talk to us and other fans about all things geek, movies, TV, comics, animation. Oh, we got a lot of channels. We really do.
Oh, all kinds of channels.
Yeah. Talk about all sorts of things. Honestly, again, this week's been kind of quiet, but we tend to talk about all sorts of stuff. More often than not, Marvel Snap has been a big thing.
Yes, we were even talking about on the Screens podcast.
No, really?
Here just the other day. Yeah, it's on a screen.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, as for today's comics, or this week's comics, I'll say we are looking at Batman Inc. number 5, Lazarus Planet Dark Fate number 1, WildCATS number 4, Batgirls number 15, and I Am Batman number 18, as well as a couple of honorable mentions. And I love seeing a number spread like that, especially in other weeks when we have issues in the hundreds. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. When I see a number spread like that, it feels like, obviously this company's been around for 80 years, but I see history there, whereas, when they do a reboot, like at the beginning of New 52 was kind of weird. Everything was the same number. And with Infinite Frontier, everything was the same number. It was all number 1, number 2, number 3, week in and week out. It just felt weird. But when you have issue 126 and then issue 18 and then issue 2 of 3 different books in the same week, it feels good.
It does.
Yeah, it's got a little weight to it.
Yeah, the only thing that don't renumber the books.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that gets on my nerves. Talking to you, Spider-Man.
Well, there's one thing about Marvel I appreciate with their numbering. They may constantly do renumberings, but they put the legacy number as well. So you have 2 issue numbers there. Mm-hmm. And I think Spider-Man, the current ASM, got to number 5, I think, and it was issue 650 or something like that. Yeah. At the same time. So that they do both of that. And I think DC could do that too, or should do that too. Or just stick to OG numbering like they have with Wonder Woman and Flash, which is also good.
Yeah. Not a big fan of renumbering Superman to number 1. It's but it's a big huge thing. But why do it? It's not a brand new character. It's not a brand new idea. It's not Batman Inc. It's not producing a WildCATS ongoing. But that's neither here nor there. Well, I guess it's a little here, but I'm not that messed up about it. It's just one of those pet peeves that I have.
Yeah.
Renumbering comics.
Yeah.
I get annoyed by that like Brandon gets annoyed by the hyphen in Spider-Man.
Oh, do I get annoyed by that?
Oh, I think it was Kirk.
Yeah, that was probably Kirk.
Oh, was it Kirk? Okay.
Yeah.
I know one day I just went overboard hyphening everything.
Yeah. I love hyphening Spy Derman.
Right?
That's my favorite. All right, so
Derman.
Spider-Man. Oh man. All right, so apart from interesting comic book numbering etiquettes, what's going on with you guys? Any newsworthy things going on?
No, my following week is about to be all chewed up because the kids got about 4 days off for their I don't know, spring vacation. It's some kind of vacation coming up. But so I'm going to be playing a whole bunch of Minecraft and Mario Kart.
Right on.
It looks like.
Nice.
As far as news out in the world, though, goes, I did happen to stumble upon just one little piece of news. For some reason, WB is going to be opening up another streaming service. It looks like it's going to be called WBTV, and it's going to be completely free, ad-based streaming like Tubi or Roku. I don't get that, but apparently the thought is that syndicated TV shows that aren't their premium content will be moving to stuff like that, including their children's shows. So I mean, I guess that makes sense.
If their children's shows include BTOS, I'm there.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that it does. But check this out. I got a question about that little piece of news. I was talking to Holly just the other day, and I was thinking, man, there are still a lot of people that don't want to go to the theater. There's people like me that have a hard time. A trip there is typically $60 or more for two people. If you both want to get popcorn and drink, that's a lot of money, man. So, my idea is, what if movies released on the same day in the theaters and on HBO Max, but the cost for that movie on HBO Max is $35. You get to keep it until it's fully watched one time or for a total of 3 days, whichever comes first. That way the studio gets money coming from both sides that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, for you know, like hell, getting out is a bit difficult for me, and especially in places like movie theaters, unless I want to sit way down in the front row and stare up at the ceiling the whole damn time for 3+ hours, which is not fun. I'm a back of the theater kind of guy, and I think that would be a good way for them to make money and to open up the market even more. Would you pay $35 to pay-per-view the upcoming Blue Beetle movie at the end of this year instead of going to the theater?
Maybe, because that's a model that Disney Plus has kind of adopted. Not in the same sense. They've got their premium. They've done premium video on demand early, like they did with Mulan, the Mulan live action remake, and I know something else had it too. I don't remember what else. A couple other movies they did where it was well after it was out of the theater, but before they were going to release it for free on Disney Plus. You could pay money to watch it early, which that
like
kind of model
access.
is kind of silly. Yeah. To me, that model is really silly. The way you describe it, I think, makes a lot more sense. You get both ends of the stick right away.
Yep. You get more people wanting to get in there. See, so even further, and I don't know why this turned into a business meeting, but let's say it's $35 for people who are already subscribers, and if you're not a subscriber, then it's going to be $45 or even $50. So that'll get people signing up for the service, plus paying a premium for that movie that they do only get to watch one time. I mean, I think it's a great idea. Brandon, can I get you to make this happen?
I mean, I guess if that's something that people would want, I personally would not do that because I very much enjoy the experience of going to the theater. Plus, $35 for essentially one movie for a rental seems kind of
it's a steep
really
price.
Expensive. That's a steep price, and it might be more accommodating for people with families. But if you're just going with say you and your girlfriend or like another friend, it's just you two people, it would be cheaper for the two of us to go together than it would be to just buy it at home. So it kind of depends on the model. Yeah, I mean a movie ticket here is like $10-11. So
Shut up.
Two of us, that would be somewhere between $20-$25.
Why in the fuck are they 20 something plus here?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're like
Something's in the water in Georgia.
It might
$15 to
depend on the
$30
theater,
for a pair of.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends on
$15
the
to
screen.
$30 for a
'cause
pair of tickets, and then 30 plus for your popcorn, drinks, and whatever.
Up
Yeah,
here at Cineplex, you have, depending on the screen you're going to, there's 5 different prices. Whether you go see basic, or you go see 3D, you go see IMAX, you go see Ultra, AVX, and then some next VIP shit. And you could pay anywhere from $12 to $25, $30 for a ticket. So it might depend on the quality of the screen.
It might, yeah. I don't know that I've ever paid, more than $20 for a single ticket, but yeah, you might be right that it just depends on the quality of, the movie type or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. I'm sitting here hella jealous.
Also, I will say, if you're buying popcorn at the movie theater, that's a rookie mistake. You should never be buying popcorn or any kind of snacks at the movie theater. You always get it from the supermarket. I learned that from my parents years ago, and I have not relented on that since. I don't think I've bought concession food in 10 years, probably.
This
The
coming
only
from a man
time-
that works at a movie theater.
Yep. And I hold by that. I'm like, don't buy it. It's a scam. I don't care if I get fired.
It's
for
what
that.
pays your
But it
salary,
tastes so
man.
good.
Yeah.
The movie theater popcorn is the best popcorn you'll ever have.
You could
It
probably
really
make
is.
better. You could probably make better or equal popcorn at home and bring it.
I've tried, and I hate my popcorn. The movie theater popcorn is so popular around here, you can get it ordered in on Uber Eats.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Whoa.
I
That's
never
insane.
buy concession food.
Yeah.
That is a scam and a half. If you're paying like $9.75 for a hot dog, I'm sorry, you are the sucker.
I would never buy a hot dog. I'm only going for combos, and I go for combos to get me extra scene points.
Yeah, see, that's you're looking for is popcorn and soda and candy. You are not supposed to buy anything warm at a movie theater. And people are like,
buy
well, wait a
candy."
second. You cook popcorn, yeah, but it's cold by the time it gets to you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wait, so well, I know, Brandon, you just said don't buy candy, but if it's, okay, say, hypothetically, you get a combo. You get a popcorn, 2 drinks, and a little bag
I
of
guess
candy.
if it's a combo, but I would never singularly buy candy.
No,
'Cause again, you
my
could
dad used to,
easily run
like,
to the
he wouldn't buy
supermarket.
popcorn.
Yeah.
He'd get a pack of Twizzlers every time, and that was his movie theater snack.
Hmm.
But that's it, and a bottle of Coke. That was it. It was probably the cheapest option at concessions, and it's also what he likes. But that, I digress. That's neither here nor there. So hypothetically, you get your bag of popcorn. Say it's a large bag of popcorn. You get your bag of candy, 2 drinks between the two of you on a date, right? Do you put that candy in the cup holder so you can share it, or do you put that bag of candy in the popcorn bag and mix that shit around?
Depends on what the
Usually in
candy
cup
is.
holder. Yeah, I don't think popcorn and candy is a good mix, at least in one.
Popcorn and chocolate is a good mix.
I see,
Like,
Brandon.
I
I was
will
on
eat-
that trip too. For years, I never did it until I saw it on Mr. Robot, and it changed my fucking life.
I'll mix popcorn and M&Ms. Cool.
Yeah.
Popcorns and Skittles. Fuck no.
No, that's a
It's
bad idea.
it's gotta be chocolate. It's gotta
That's
be
true.
chocolate.
Yeah, that's very true. Clodhoppers. Is that what they're called now, or is
What?
that the old name?
What?
I might be dating myself right now.
I'm older than you, and I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
It's those like lumps of chocolate and like pretzel and some shit.
I didn't realize that was a candy. I know that's like an old, kind of outdated saying
God.
for a pair of chunky shoes.
That might be where they got it from. It's definitely a different name now. Clodhoppers candy.
That's a Canadian thing.
Clusters. Okay, yeah. it was
Clusters,
Chris
yeah.
and Larry's Clodhoppers was what it used to be called. I don't think we have that anymore. But yeah, like, I think now it's called Clusters. It's the same thing.
Clusters we have here.
Oh
in
yeah,
movie theater.
Clodhoppers
Apparently
stopped
in movie
2012.
theaters
That's a shame.
only.
Yeah. Those with popcorn are really good.
I imagine.
Yeah.
You know what else is really good?
Damn. What?
Not
What's that?
Danger Street.
Oh man. before we get into that, I actually do have some news.
All right.
As well.
Yeah, shoot.
We might have
shoot.
the same news, so it'll be interesting to hear what yours is.
Well, mine. I was debating on bringing up that age debate that we had the other day that DC posted, fake dating profiles of various characters with their ages on, which that's a whole discussion in itself. So we'll save that for another time.
That's a debate that you can have with us on Discord if you go to our Patreon and donate every month or something like that.
What Brandon said. I agree.
Yes, give us money, get into the Discord, and
Exactly.
get in on all the weird fun talks that we have.
And tell us why or why not Jon Stewart is 28, Stephanie Brown is 18 or 20, and whether or not Tim is older or younger.
All of
Anyway,
that is wrong.
sorry, you were saying?
Okay.
Oh.
So, the news I discovered and I shared with you guys earlier this week, Poison Ivy has been upgraded yet again. Hallelujah, Glorious Willow Wilson has done it again. It's now an ongoing series with issue 13 dropping in June. I'm excited.
Good news. Me too.
I can't wait. We did get a little snippet of a solicit for what's going to be happening post issue 12, and it looks really interesting and a lot of fun. It's exciting. This is a damn good book.
It's got editorials showing a whole lot of faith in a book that was supposed to be only 6 issues to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you get another 6, and now you're just like, well, however many until your sales dip. I'm about that. That's got to feel damn good for Wilson, or hell for anybody that happens to.
Yeah. And it also is a sign to us readers that if there's a mini that they're putting out that you want them to put it as an ongoing, get out there, pre-order it, buy the book, and let them see those sales. And it tells them that you want to see more of that book. That's what happened with Poison Ivy. Like Josh said, it was 6 issues, then it was 12. Now it's forever. We'll see. But
And forever is good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about all I had. Now Josh wanted me to talk about my new The Green Lantern Grant Morrison thoughts.
Yes.
But I want to hear what Brandon has to say first. What news do you have?
Well, this one is not much of a surprise, but it's definitely worth mentioning, just, to kind of keep people aware of stuff. But DC, in the spirit of the dawn of the DCU, announced 3 new books, both for the Dawn of the DCU initiative, but also for Asian American / Pacific Islander Awareness Month. And I think pretty much everyone saw this coming if they read last week's Lazarus Planet tie-in. But it's 3 new titles that will be spinning out of some of the stories from last week and actually from this week too, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the first one is Spirit World, which is spinning out of this week's Lazarus Planet tie-in. And that will be written by Alyssa Wong with art from Hai Ning. And I don't want to give away too much about the details because it's kind of spoiling the story from this week's Lazarus Planet. But suffice it to say, this will be a continuation of that story. I'm actually kind of curious if it'll have any connections to the Jack Kirby Spirit World title that lasted exactly 1 issue. Probably won't because that was an anthology, but it would be funny if they had like a little, tongue-in-cheek reference to it. The second is The Vigil. Yeah, the second is The Vigil from Ramvi and Lalit Kumar Sharma. This is going to be featuring the new Vigil team, which are a metahuman research and tech team that basically are trying to stop any kind of extraneous metahuman threats around the DCU, which seems like a cool concept. It's kind of what they were aiming at in the short story that we got last week, but this will get a little bit more detail. And we actually get names of some of the characters, which is nice. So the Vigil will consist of the following characters: Arclight, Saya, Dodge, and Castle. Who is who? I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but at least we have a little bit more information regarding what this team is actually about. And I should mention, The Vigil is coming out May 16th, 2023, and Spirit World is coming out May 9th, 2023. And rounding out this trio of books, again, not a surprise at all, is City Boy, coming out May 23rd, 2023, from Greg Pak and Mink-Yu Young, with Sunny Go doing the colors. And this one pretty much just continues the story of City Boy, aka Cameron King, popping from popping from city to city, and kind of just continuing his adventures. So, I mean, I'm keeping my, I'm keeping my mind open for all these series, trying not to be too close-minded about it, because I think some of them could be very interesting, some of them could be very milquetoast. Who knows? It's too early to tell, but I'm at least excited that, they're trying to give some of these newer, more diverse characters a push, especially with all very diverse creative teams, which I think is really nice. So check them out when they come out in 3 months, something like that. Hopefully they are satisfying and enjoyable. And that's pretty much all I got.
Right on. Oh, that's exciting. There's definitely been some interesting new characters coming out.
Definitely.
The Vigil, I'm still kind of on the fence about, but City Boy, and as we'll talk about later with Spirit World, I'm still kind of interested. Definitely. So we'll see. It's always good to see new characters. Okay. A quick rundown of my new thoughts, because since I started this show, I've been vocal about not enjoying Grant Morrison's Green Lantern, and as I found out, many other Green Lantern fans share my apathy towards it. So I feel kind of justified. But I'm taking my second go around, at least with the first 6 issues. Because I remember when I first read it, I got to issue 7, and I had to stop because it was too much. And I know why. When the first few issues came around, it just wasn't what I was expecting at all, and that's my own fault. I had expectations. I should not have had expectations, but this time I studied. I got up on my Grant Morrison. I went through Batman R.I.P. I went through his Action Comics from New 52. I read some Final Crisis stuff, so I'm Grant Morrisoned up, and I read this, and it was still kind of iffy at start, but I get about issue 4 and I start to like it. It's actually really good. The art I didn't like at first either, but I've come to appreciate it more. And Lantern Volk is one of my favorite all-time lanterns.
Not Trilla True?
Trilla True is interesting, but there's something about Volk. It just screams Rumble. It's good.
It does.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Or Fluzel Phlegm. I can name pretty much every lantern that was introduced in that run. That was something.
Oh god, I don't remember the name of the aliens now. The alien race that Kanjar Row is from, they looked freaky. See, that was the thing about Liam Sharp's art. I wasn't prepared for it. I was used to the art we'd had for the previous 15 years, which was not so hyperactive and crazy at times. So it was just...
Yeah.
It threw me off. But it is actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm. That was sort of what really pulled me about Liam Sharp's art at first. It was so different from the kind of house style that the Lanterns had developed, in the past decade or so. And it was, for lack of a better word, alien, which I felt like was appropriate. So pretty much every character you see is different in some way. Yeah. Even Hal is bizarrely different from his Lantern cohorts. Pretty much no one else looks like Hal.
Yeah.
Save for, the other human-looking... I forget. I think the Adam Strange, team-up / well, not really team-up, but the Adam Strange story where he's kind of thrown against him. I think that's... Is that issue 5 or issue 6?
Remember? It's 4 into 5, I think?
4 into 5.
Or 5... Okay. No, maybe it is 5 into 6. Yeah, I think it's 5 into 6.
Okay.
Yeah, because 6 ended with him going into the ring world, where
Yeah. Oh wait, actually, I do have a
Merwyden
question because you were reading this out of the trade and not issue by issue, and
Yeah.
I did wonder something about the reproduction of the issues in the trade. Do
Yeah.
the when they have like the covers when it introduces a new issue, do the covers have like anything on them, or is it blank?
Oh, it's just blank. It doesn't
Oh,
have any of the
damn.
bonus text, which
Yeah, it's
which
kind
is
of
a
a
shame
shame.
because those are really cool.
Yeah, because those were honestly that was some of my favorite stuff. Was just every month seeing the cover, and it was like
I think.
like issue 3 or issue 4 when he goes up against Belzebeth, and it's like the Emerald Knight versus the Queen of Night. I'm like, oh, that's so great. That's like just the best
Yeah, it is
description you could possibly have.
Wait, did Dark Stars have any of that?
Yeah.
Or Black Stars, whichever they are.
Yeah, Black Stars I think had those too, but
They
I
did?
don't
Okay, 'cause
remember if it was quite
I
as
cracked
much.
open season 2, and it starts with Black Stars issue 1, and it's just a blank cover.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, the Countess Belzebeth. That's like
But
probably my favorite character in that run, and she
Gorgeous art.
Yeah,
all the way around.
I won't say that she comes back in season 2. I won't spoil it, but because that story kind of gets wrapped up in Black Stars. But yeah, she was just my favorite character.
Oddly enough, Black Stars I did read. I think I read like the last couple of issues of season 1. I just skipped a bunch. I might have actually just skipped issue 7 because that's the one with,
Is he in the
Merwyden.
ring?
Yeah, where he's in the ring and it's like
He's in the ring.
all over the place. It was hard to read, and I
Oh.
just kind of I can't. I think I was sick at the time. I just couldn't do it. So at least that I skipped. But my favorite thing about these trades is underneath the jacket is just friggin' gorgeous artwork. I love this stuff.
Wow, yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. And volume 1, like both books from season 1 have a double finish on it. Like the characters are glossy, where the rest is like a matte finish, and it looks so good. It pops so well.
Yeah.
The art in there could be written on the art in those books could be drawn on the back of a pizza box, and it would still be stellar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a new appreciation for Liam Sharp's art. At first, the first
great.
image you get, which was the cover of the first issue, Hal just looked incredibly big. Like his upper body was way too big for me, and that threw me off
I remember.
right away.
I remember it was like August of 2018 or something when they formally announced it, and they had that cover. And I remember I was in the same boat as you, where I saw that cover and I was like, ooh, something's not right. Like he's too top heavy. He looks like a luchador or something. But I think once you actually saw the interiors and just how Sharp could kind of visualize the lanterns, lanterns being all the different kinds of lanterns.
Yeah.
It really gave me an appreciation for his art. It was just that first cover was a little wonky.
Yeah. And the texture on each suit too was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for now, first 6 issues, second go around, stellar. Part 2, we'll see. And when I actually finish season 2, it's gonna be even more interesting because I maybe got like 2 issues into it and I was like, I can't do this again.
See, season 2, I think, looking back, I actually liked it more than season 1 because it had complexity. And I think if you go through it and you really just try and, okay, let's break this down as much as you can, I think there'll be something that you can appreciate even more than season 1, just because season 2 with Ultra War and with all the different aspects that it was trying to tackle, not just of Lantern mythology, but of everything else related to Hal Jordan, and sometimes the opposite of Hal Jordan, or the anti-Hal Jordan, which I should say, but I won't spoil because it's a really cool issue. There's just a lot to appreciate about the second season. I would say it's more ambitious.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, best of luck.
All right. So with that, I think I'm all good. Josh, you want to put us into honorable mentions?
I could definitely do that. I suppose let me knock that one that I mentioned off the list first. Danger Street number 3. It seems to be a bunch of people's favorite book out there right now. A lot of people are liking it. I just can't bring myself to get interested in it. The idea is cool, but the writing is so very dry. It feels more like I'm reading a newspaper than a comic book. So I can't say that I suggest that one, unless, I mean, that's your thing. Next up, Batman the Animated Series, The Adventure Continues, Season 3, Number 2. It is BTOS. So why don't you guess if it was good or not?
For the record, I've been loving all 3 seasons.
Yeah, for sure. Beyond the White Knight number 8, the entire frigging world of White Knight is spectacular, and you're a bonehead if you say otherwise. It's another great issue here, plus Wonder Woman and Green Lantern show up, but not with jobs that you would expect them to have. And then finally, a book that I have been looking forward to for so long. I almost wish it was in the spotlights. Swamp Thing Green Hell number 2. It was so good that I went back and read it again, and it is not the kind of book that you need to do that with. Such beautiful colors, such gorgeous art, a very emotional and very, very well written story. Now, the only thing that I need to know is, when do we get book 3? The Swamp Thing Green Hell was just amazing. I loved it.
I think it's supposed to be next month, isn't it? I thought when they
Yeah.
announced it was like month after month.
Yeah, no, it's coming out next month.
Nice. That makes me super happy.
All right. Well, that's it. Before we move on, actually, Beyond the White Knight. No spoilers here, but there is a promise of more.
Which is funny because I thought this was the end.
It was supposed to
that's
be.
that's what Murphy had said, but when a book does well enough, it never ends.
I mean, realistically, and again, no spoilers here. How it ends kind of alludes to the fact that it's not really going to be a White Knight title anymore.
Yeah.
Right, so the White Knight saga is done.
I think, it basically said
and then it's going into
the
just
world
exploring the universe. Yeah, they're going to expand the world with different titles.
Yep. There's literally an entire White Knight universe at this point, and if I'm not mistaken, that was even mentioned in the multiversal map, the latest one that we got. So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, that's good.
Am I mistaken? There is. They came out with a list a while back about all the new confirmed Earths, and I want to say that the White Knight one was on that list.
I meant to check that, actually. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I believe so, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah.
Right on. Well,
all right. So that is the honorable mentions, and now we're going to take a quick bite out of a book, and that is with Batman Inc. number 5, and Mr. Josh is going to tell us about that one.
I will. So that is Batman Inc. number 5, written by Ed Brisson, art inside and out by John Timms, with Rex Locus on colors and Clayton Cowell on letters. It starts right off with the Knight and the rest caught in a big red cube, so they can't help Ghostmaker. Back to Phantom 1 telling Clown Hunter to end Ghostmaker. Back to the red cube, and Grey Wolf breaks them all out of it, after they wake him up, that is. Clown Hunter won't kill Ghostmaker, so Phantom 1 and Ghostmaker fight. Eventually, Ghostmaker wins and lets Phantom 1 go, after they both have been stabbed a few times. And that's pretty much the book. At the end, Batman of China is walking in on Dr. Wu, and there's a bunch of bad guys with a knife at Wu's throat saying that they've got a message for Batman Inc. I do feel like it was a good way to wrap up the storyline. Both Clown Hunter and Ghostmaker have grown into decent heroes, or at least they've moved a little bit closer to that. The team is working good together, Batman Inc. as a whole, and here's another group of bad guys to dive right into. The art looks good in here. The colors look great. Tim's and Locus are a perfect match. It's one of my favorites today. And Ed Brisson is doing one hell of a job. This series is still a favorite. I gave Batman Inc. number 5 a 9 out of 10.
Brandon, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. No, I thought it was a very solid way to end this arc of No More Teachers, I think it was called. And really just brought a clear, decisive end to it while also leaving some doors open for stuff. I thought it was maybe a little, I don't want to say rushed, but it was kind of an abrupt ending. Like, I definitely saw, the fact that Clown Hunter was not going to kill Ghostmaker coming, but it did seem a little abrupt in just how he was willing to just forgive them and kind of let them be like, okay, yeah, we're cool now. Like, I've learned, which is a good way to show progression, but it seems a little fast at least. But yeah, aside from that, solid ending. Can't really complain. Looking forward to seeing what the next arc is going to be with Dr. Wu and whoever these mysterious guys are and what they have against Batman Inc. It's just the perfect way to kind of set up what comes next. So this got an 8 out of 10 for me.
I wasn't disappointed, but I did find this underwhelming. Mostly because you kind of get the feeling that Phantom One was not going to win. And it was, I'm not going to say it was telegraphed, but it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I did like that Ghostmaker staying true to his no-killing deal with Batman. I was just really hoping for more excitement. 8 out of 10, not bad, but not great.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, so with that, we are done our quick bite section for the week, and we're going on over to shine a spotlight on our sole spotlight book of the week. And as has been the last few weeks, we are taking a look at Lazarus Planet tie-ins with Dark Fate number 1, with a beautiful cover from David Marquez and Alejandro Sanchez. Our first story is about The Huntress, written by Tim Seeley with
tag team this one, Rob?
Yes.
I gotta get ready.
Yeah, we're going to tag team this. I'll do 1 and 3, and you can do 2 and 4, if you're all good with that.
Okay.
All right, so this one, Huntress, is written by Tim Seeley with art from Baldemar Rivas, colors from Ivan Plasencia, and letters from Carlos M. Mangual. Simply put, Helena returns to her old stomping grounds at the Arkham Tower, as seen in the famous Detective Comics story, The Tower, where the residents have been turned by the Lazarus Rain. I say turned like they're zombies or vampires or something, just turned into more powerful villains, or a little crazier, if you will. After fighting some familiar foes and the current ringleader of them, Killer Moth, she hopes that this does not lead to anything worse, which, of course, rain resin is pouring into the basement where someone is awake that should not be, leading to something worse. And we will get more, I believe it said, this fall, something like that. I was fine with never going back to the tower, gotta be honest, but I'm not against this. I thought this was a pretty cool story. I do wonder who that is. Like, I have a feeling that I know who that is in that room that said, "Danger, do not wake," but I can't quite figure out who it is. Like, it's on the tip of my brain. Like, it's somebody who shouldn't be awake. There's a
you know
number.
Who it is? This is Jeff Johns' prediction coming, right? That's the Hulk.
Oh shit.
I'm just kidding.
Oh shit. Also, I've been having the year wrong this whole time. I kept saying like Secret Crisis 2025. It's not 2025. It's like 2030 or something. I don't know why I kept saying 2025. Yeah. We got time. It's gonna happen. Just you watch.
Yeah, we'll see. This story is supposed to be continued in the summer of 2023.
That's it.
And about the only thing that has me interested in it is that last half panel. Nothing else really seemed to matter. The art, I mean, art was mostly good, a little inconsistent, but I don't feel there was really nothing for the whole story at all, except for that very last page, and not even the whole page. So I was a little underwhelmed from this one.
Yeah, it wasn't fantastic. It was enjoyable enough, I'd say, for me, but yeah, it wasn't fantastic. I think
Yeah, I
at
mean,
least
if I
for
had
me,
to
the
score it,
tower
it'd be a
has a bad enough
7.5.
taste.
Yeah, maybe that's all it
Yeah.
was.
Et toi, Brandon?
Yeah, honestly, I'm with Josh on this one. The only thing that's even vaguely interesting to me is just seeing what the mystery is with who they didn't want to wake. But other than that, I don't know. It just feels like they kind of don't know what to do with Huntress, which is a shame because Huntress is
There's
a
two
great
of them.
character. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. This just feels like what are we gonna do with Huntress? Let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Maybe this one will work. But yeah, it feels like that for a while. So this one's just kind of another in a long line of kind of uninteresting Huntress stories.
Yeah.
You didn't like Vile?
No, I can't say I did.
No, you shouldn't say you did either.
Yeah, that would be a
Oh
lie.
God.
See, I'll admit, when I saw the resin going into the sewers or the basement, my first thought is it was Vile, but then it had that sign on the door. I don't know.
Danger, do not wake. And the thing about it, the thing that has me, that's got me thinking, okay, well, this isn't just Joker or Croc, something along those lines. The person inside the room is saying, oh no. So like they didn't want to be woke up.
Yeah.
So that's got me very, very, very interested as to who it might be.
Like I keep trying to think of characters whose abilities have to do with sleep, and like every character I'm thinking of, their abilities happen when they are asleep.
Well, see, the thing
So
that I'm
it's-
thinking of, the thing that I'm wondering is a bad guy that would be locked in Arkham Tower, who would be repentant and feel guilty about what he's done, wanting to continue to be a good guy, but sees now that something really bad is going to happen because they got woke up. If I'm trying to wrap my head around what kind of a bad guy that would fit with, and I can't come up with anything. You know any repentant bad guys that could be locked up in Arkham? I mean, nobody that's
Not
going to
right
have
now.
that sign on their door. Calculator, Calendar Man. I mean,
Yeah. It could even be a forgotten hero. Could be anybody. I don't know. We'll find out this summer. Hopefully, it's an interesting story. I'm all for
watch it be some kind of weird random character like Blue Star Man just showing up out of nowhere.
Yo, I'm down for that.
Well, it happened in Danger Street.
All right, now we're moving on to our next story, which is the Unstoppable Doom Patrol. Brandon, fill us in.
Woo woo.
My pleasure. Yes, this is the Unstoppable Doom Patrol making their somewhat grand return to the DCU for whatever that entails. But this is a short little story brought to us by Dennis Culver with art from Chris Burnham, colors from Brian Raber, and letters from Steve Wands. And the premise could not be more simple. There is a breakout of crazy metahuman activity at a secret remote island that is being watched by the U.S. government, and naturally the supervisor, one General Blanche, calls the Doom Patrol the world's strangest heroes to deal with the world's strangest threats. And in this case, the strangest threats are basically a metahuman monster that has infected everyone else down there and just driven stuff crazy. So the DP steps in, does what they do best, and tries to cut off the threat before it gets any worse, but, do it in a way that's not, for lack of a better term, dehumanizing to the metahuman, but in a way that helps the metahuman and hopefully will provide some kind of relief and comfort for them later. As they leave the underground bunker, and General Blanche meets them at the top, informing them that there's no way they're letting that crazy metahuman out of their sight. The DP informed them that that's really not in their jurisdiction, because it's their job to take care of the strange metahumans that are around the world in a humane way, not in a keep you locked in a cell kind of way. They have a little standoff where they basically say that they have mutually assured destruction, and then the DP goes off on their merry way. And we will follow them in their continuing adventures in Unstoppable Doom Patrol #1, on sale in March 2023. So this is our first peek into what the future of the DP is going to be. And I think a little while ago, I had talked about how the series was kind of being billed as really being grounded in the DC universe, and you were going to see all these different dynamics with characters and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that could not sound less interesting, because the last thing I really want to see is, the Doom Patrol getting in a fight with like the Justice League or the Suicide Squad. Like, who cares? That's the most ridiculous thing you could possibly have. Like, if you're reading the Doom Patrol, it's for the strangeness, it's for the bizarre. And it doesn't necessarily have to be disconnected from the DCU, but it shouldn't be so, entrenched in continuity that it's like it just loses itself and they become yet another super team, which is not. It's not in their name. They're the world's straight. Yeah, they're not the WildCATS. They're not, the Teen Titans. They're the world's strangest heroes. Like, they should be off in their own strange little way. I think.
Well, I mean, not that I hate what PKJ did. I mean, we were all big fans here, but teams like WildCATS, The Authority, Doom Patrol, great teams. Yes, they exist in the larger universe, but they work best by themselves.
Yeah. And in this case, I think, as a first peek into what these stories are going to be, I think this was a good, if fairly safe example. Like, I felt good about it. I felt like it was a great story, or at least, no, not great story, strong story. Great for what it needed to be, but ultimately not exceptional, which, you're not going to get from a Lazarus Planet tie-in, obviously. But yeah, it just felt like a very traditional Doom Patrol story, and not even like traditional in the Morrison sense or in the Gerard Way sense. It felt like, this is the team, this is sort of what they do, here's an example of how they do it. Cool. So while I love the art from Chris Burnham, I feel like he's the perfect fit for a Doom Patrol book, and I truly hope that they let him just unleash the madness in the upcoming miniseries. I feel like this story is a first indicator for what the series is going to be. It's like right on the fence for me. It's good. It could be better, but it's not terrible, and it's certainly not as continuity heavy as I expected it to be. So this one I gave a 7.75 out of 10. Or I don't know if we're ranking it, but anyway, for this story, it's just like, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's certainly not exceptional. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I didn't have much. I just sort of, I honestly, I guess I forgot to rate more, because all I wrote was great read, can't wait for the book. I don't know, I enjoyed it. The art
motherfucking
was...
chainsaw nun.
Fucking right. The art was a little out there at first, but that's Chris Burnham. It takes a couple of pages to get used to. Like, it's almost a little jarring at
matches
first.
the characters though. Matches the
Yeah,
book for sure.
but even when I see pages from New 52 Batman Inc., I'm like, holy shit, that's what they look like. And then I remember, oh yeah, no, it was Chris Burnham, and and then I remember the page of Damien getting stabbed through the chest with a sword. Like, okay, yeah, I see that now. It takes to
Why'd
me
you
it
bring
takes a
up
couple of
that
pages.
Fucking jerk.
Takes a couple of pages to get used to it. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I rather enjoyed it. I'm all for the next installment of the Doom Patrol. But I get what you're saying. Like they shouldn't be completely intertwined with the universe at large.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing Crazy Jane showing up as 3 different people here.
Yeah.
That was cool. All within one book. Getting new people used to the idea of exactly who or what she is. Everybody else is pretty self-explanatory. If this was like a standalone issue or whatever, I'd give it an 8, probably higher. I probably would have given it higher if it wasn't for the art. When I look at this, all I can think of is how much it looks like the shitty Jon Stewart stories we were getting there for a while, and that's bothering me a bit. But the story, the reason why we're getting a Doom Patrol book, I can definitely get behind it. I like it. Plus, there's no Flex Metallo, so far this is all aces. I am definitely looking forward to the first issue in March. Hell yeah. And no, I really, really do not like Flex Metallo. Annoying character. But the story is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Is Chris Burnham doing the art for the main book as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I will be prepared.
Yeah, I'll have to go in prepared myself.
Yeah. God, just thinking of, like, at least for me, if there's ever a combination you'd think would be way out there, was Grant Morrison and Chris Burnham, but it wasn't really that out there with Batman Inc.
No, yeah, I think Nameless was really where they kind of were like, okay, let's just fucking pull out every possible stop we can, which I think is why that book was what it was, is putting it nicely. But yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so with our next story in the book is about Circuit Breaker, a brand new character which is written and drawn, basically fully created by A.L. Kaplan, with letters from Hassan Otsmane El Hao. Jules Jourdain is the title character, and they are a regular old theater brat trying to make their way in this big old world as an actor. Except the owner blew a hole in the wall, and then Jules got powers, which lets them absorb the blast, and then they have nowhere to put it, so they put it in their friend, but it hurts her, so they take it out of their friend and keep it until Avery Flash arrives to help. That's the story.
Zoom.
That is
It's
the
good.
story.
I liked it.
Yeah. I very much liked it.
Yeah. It's honestly it actually is pretty simple plot as an origin story. The power set is still very vague and is potentially rooted in the Still Force, though that remains to be seen. I know when the character was first kind of dropped in a press release, they did mention the Still Force as being part of the power set, which a lot of people were confused as to why they were then called Circuit Breaker, because what the hell does that have to do with the Still Force? But we will see. Seeing how the power goes right now, Circuit Breaker kind of makes sense.
I suppose.
I like it. I like the character. I'm excited to see more. Hopefully we get more soon. I think this is a win for Lazarus Planet so far. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Well,
this is easily my favorite story in the anthology. Like, just this is a great kind of classic way to introduce a new character. Beautiful art from A.L. Kaplan. Well, I'd seen that name before. think he did a book with Joe Hill at Boom, but I was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. I didn't really think anything of him, but I wish I had, checked that book out a little bit more closely, because if the art was anything like it was here, I definitely would love to look at that a little bit more closely. But yeah, no, great way to introduce a new character. I hope if anyone gets a new series, I hope it's Circuit Breaker. I just love their story so far. And I'd love to see what else they could do it. And I hope they keep this team, just Ale Kaplan doing everything, which I'm sure can't be easy. But if you're up for it, please, we'd love a series from you.
Yeah.
Far as I'm concerned, this was not my favorite story of the whole book. On the opposite side of you guys there, it is the first time that I've heard one of the other forces outside of Williamson's run, so at least something did something with that, so pluses. Jules Jourdain annoyed me right on the first page. What happens is really weird. Whatever the energy Jules absorbed from his friend is really weird. Getting the still force from Lazarus Rain is weird. And Avery is talking like she's in the Silver Age with some old chum kind of dialogue. If they drop how dramatic Jules is, I mean, we literally see him fall back with his hand across his forehead. Then if they drop just that part, then I'm totally on board with this character. But you can't be a superhero and fake faint. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Wait, fake what?
Fake faint.
Oh, fake faint. Well, that's theater brats for you though. Like
I don't theater brats my ass. I don't care.
Honestly,
one thing that
I
will
grew up
say,
was one. I grew up with them, and that is spot on.
Agree,
That's the thing that actually happens.
That doesn't make it okay. The one thing that I will give this book major props for is not for the fact that they've got a transgendered character in the lead role. It's not that. It's the snippet of art that shows how far this person has transitioned, with the double mastectomy being shown during their clothes changing. I thought that was a very interesting and important detail to include in there. So that one bumped this up. And the potential for it to be good bumped this up, but Jules needs to drop the theater kid attitude. Other than that, I guess let's see where it goes and hopefully make some more sense out of whatever it was that really happened here.
Yeah.
Good potential, not full on it yet. That's
fair enough. Okay.
Really
that's fair. And with that, we are getting into our last story of the issue, and as mentioned before, conveniently by Brandon will be telling us about the last story, and that is about the spirit world, because I couldn't remember the names of any other characters in it and forgot to look it up.
Xanthi Cho.
Specifically focused on the envoy of the spirit world in a story brought to us by Alyssa Wong, with art from Hai Ning, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Sebastian Chang on colors, and Janice Chung on letters. And it is a story about one of the envoys of the spirit world, a non-binary character named Xanthi Jiang. I think they're non-binary. I saw that mentioned somewhere. Anyway, they're basically doing their job, just trying to kind of commune with spirits, only to have those spirits rebel. And I believe they're called the hopping vampires or something like that. But thankfully, before they can get any kind of nasty upper hand on Xanthi, who should show up to her aid but Batgirl, the Cassandra Cain Batgirl, of course. And they are doing their best to hold off the threat, but to make things worse, that's when John Constantine decides to show up. And of course, he's complaining because Xanthi sold him some BS kind of magical object, and he's very upset about it. But they're like, you just didn't use it properly. But Constantine thankfully provides his use and is able to help both Xanthi and Cassandra banish the spirits back to the spirit world, but not before one of the spirits grabs Cassandra and drags her into the spirit world, which means that, as Xanthi says, she is trapped on the other side with no way out. Also thought this was a phenomenal way to introduce a new character. So super excited to check out Spirit World. I love the art too. It's very dynamic. Kind of reminds me of Dan Mora in a way. But really, I think it's like a very polished, very tight story. The banter back and forth between Xanthi and Cassandra was right on point. And even Constantine had his horrible moment to shine. So it really just worked effectively. And I'm hoping all of these elements are continued in the Spirit World miniseries coming up in May. So this is probably my second favorite story of the anthology.
Yeah, I was thrown for a loop at the end because I instantly went to Google and tried to look up Spirit World #1. I could only get the old book from
the Jack Kirby.
It was Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
I think it was the 70s. Yeah, and that's all I could find. I'm like, the hell, man. So I forget they just hadn't announced it yet, and then here you were today telling me that I still can't freaking find it. I don't know where you saw that announcement, but at least it's officially announced.
Yeah, I can send it. Yeah,
coming.
I'm surprised. Yeah, you guys didn't see it. But...
Yeah. I've been looking all day, and I was like, I never saw a thing. I even looked as you were telling us that it was announced, and I still couldn't find it. So,
yeah, let me send it.
I guess you're just that good.
I guess.
Yeah, you're to all the grounds. I agree about Spirit World though. Like this was really good. The art was fantastic. I loved the teamwork and camaraderie between Cassandra and Xanthi. It was really cool to see. And not often you get to see any kind of heritage from Cassandra. it's really she's just the quiet killing machine, or she's a Batgirl. Like that's, you don't really get to see anything of culture or heritage,
which makes sense because pretty much her entire childhood was dominated by David Kane. So it's not like she had time for heritage lessons, but it's nice that she's been able to connect with that since becoming Batgirl and all that stuff.
Well, you can imagine, like, since breaking away from that life and becoming Batgirl and being with the Waynes, she would take the time to learn that stuff. And it'd be cool if we could get a bit more of that mixed in with the character. Yeah, if it would make sense to the story and all that, beyond that, it was just really cool. The only issue I had with this, as far as I could tell, there was no Lazarus involved whatsoever. So that was kind of weird. Because they're all supposed to be part of the Lazarus Planet. Introduce a new character, cool, and that's all. And like, if this is the avenue to do it, this is the avenue to do it, because you get this book that's all sorts of short stories. You're introducing new characters at the yin yang. That's cool. Just at least mention it, Just say, there's a weird rain going on, or
for some reason that
was weird
Lazarus
yesterday
was
with Green Wayne.
Yeah, for some reason I thought the Lazarus was what brought the spirits back to life, but I might have just thrown that in. Without thinking.
I mean, it could have. I might have not seen it.
Xanthi Cho brings it up in dialogue on the first page, talking to her grandma. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I missed that bit then, or I forgot. All right, I stand corrected.
You don't see it in the art or in anywhere of the.
Yeah. At least the mention
else in the story
is really all you need.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh, I liked it. I really liked it.
Me too. I think the whole premise here is really cool, and I love the art. I do see the Dan Mora resemblance, and I almost feel like Haining is like somebody put Dan Mora and Jim Lee in a bottle and shook it up, and this is what we got. And I'm okay with that. Really, really digging the art here. I do wish it wasn't in Gotham. That's the last thing Gotham needs is another character. There are other cities. And, of course, I've got the reservation about how, continuity. Obviously, this is going to be going on, but is it going to be reflected in other books? Probably not. So when did it happen? Oh, it didn't happen. It happened before this. And eventually, 6 years from now, somebody will settle it in the caption box. But other than that, man, this is just awesome. Haining again is off the chain. It's gorgeous. The colors are right there with it. I mean, go through this story and look at Xanthi Cho's jeans. In every single panel, even in the ones where they're barely in, they're all hella detailed and colored very incredibly well. It looks great, and I hope it goes good places. This one was my I love the Doom Patrol story, but this one was easily my second favorite, and not far behind Doom Patrol at all. I gave the whole book a 7.5 out of 10, but I'm gonna bump that up to 7.75.
Fair enough. For the whole book, I gave it 8.25, maybe an 8.5. Couldn't quite decide. So I settled on an 8.25 for now.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. I really liked the last two stories with Circuit Breaker and Xanthi the Envoy. But again, I think the Doom Patrol story I'm still kind of on the fence about. I need a little bit more before I can reach a final verdict. It just felt kind of safe for now.
All right, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. And we're back. Thanks for you for sticking with us. Wow, I've flubbed that hard. Thank you for sticking with us. I knew you wouldn't leave our side. You're so sweet to us. It was Valentine's Day after all. That's all right, listener. You were my Valentine this year. Just don't tell my wife. She doesn't listen to this show anyway.
Don't feel bad. Mine doesn't either. She's just like, I gotta listen to you talk about comic books all week long.
Yeah. I get that. All right, so we're getting into our full dive section of the week, starting off with WildCATS number 4, and Mr. Brandon is going to tell us what's going on with the Crisis Action Team. Or is it
Crisis Action Team, Crisis Aversion Team, Covert Action
Crisis.
Teams? Take your pick.
Right.
It's one of them.
Whichever. Some combination of the words.
Yeah, whichever one you want. But at the end of the day, they'll still be wild enough for you. And while they are indeed, because this is WildCATS number 4, and it is quite the wild issue. To be sure, brought to us, of course, by Matthew Rosenberg, with art from Steven Segovia, colors from Elmer Santos, and letters from Farron Delgado. I don't want to say short issue, but, fairly fast-paced issue, at least it was for me, in that it really focuses on two perspectives. When we last left Cole, he was falling from the sky in the middle of a Middle Eastern country, which I've forgotten the name of, only to miraculously find out that he survived, but literally fell into the thick of a siege or coup or whatever the hell is going on, and is now having to deal with that. So, it's literally the embodiment of out of the frying pan and into the fire for old Cole Cash. But back in Star City,
Poor guy.
the Halo Corporation, Zealot, and Fairchild are trying to do their best to track down Cole because they don't believe he's truly dead. Spartan, or as he's going by here, Colt, is kind of giving them grief, saying they can't talk to Marlowe. Cole's probably dead. Who cares? But Zana isn't having it. And neither is Deathblow, apparently. She believes that it is in their best interest to act as a team, but when she finds out that they want to go back for Cole, she apparently does not want to handle that shit. Cole is still trying to navigate his best way out of wherever he is, but unfortunately is not having much trouble and is really just leaving explosion, or leaping from explosion to explosion. We catch up a little bit with our 7 Soldiers of Victory, coming fresh from hard work at a photo shoot, which, as we all know, is the most arduous thing you could possibly do. But unfortunately, they just don't have the time to handle that kind of stuff. Even someone as powerful as Majestic, who drops a truth bomb that I won't spoil here, but suffice it to say, will lead some people to speculate over who Majestic truly might be. Zana and Fairchild are still trying their best to figure out a way to get in contact with Marlowe, but unfortunately, Spartan is blocking their way at every turn. So, having enough of their grief, he sends them over to Miss Tereshkova, aka Void, the Russian psychic robot, whatever it is. Really not a great way to describe what Void is other than that. And they make their way to where Void is supposed to be hanging out, only to find our lovely Maxine, aka Ladytron, in the middle of a three-way with two Spartan clones, because of course,
Don't call her Ladytron.
Don't call her Ladytron.
Don't call her Ladytron. Well, I'm sorry, Maxine. I can't help it.
Nobody likes their names. Can't call her Ladytron.
Not my
Don't
fault.
call her Zealot.
You'll always be Ladytron.
Cole hates being called Drifter. He thinks it's an insult.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, Maxine. I gotta call you Ladytron. Alan Moore told me to.
One of the things I love about the WildCATS.
Yeah. If Alan Moore told me to do it, I have to do it. So I can't not call you Ladytron. But anyway, Ladytron sends them to where Marlowe is supposed to be, while Cole is in the midst of dealing with some ninjas. But then he gets a meeting with the head of whatever attack this is supposed to be, and finds out that there is a deeper conspiracy at the heart of this when he is face to face with none other than Angelbreaker, who we recall from Shadow War not too long ago. And I guess they have been hired to kill Cash because of something that he knows or something that he wants to do. Cole makes some threats, but naturally Angelbreaker is not concerned at all, even when he mentions Zana, aka Zealot, but I know she doesn't like to be called that. And speaking of Zana and Fairchild and the rest of them, they finally make their way to an art gallery where Marlowe is supposed to be, meeting with none other than Reno Bryce. Yes, you heard that right. Reno Bryce, aka Warblade from the original WildCATS, which is a cameo that I was not expecting. And
no, not at all.
Hope we can see him suit up at some point. Fun fact, there is a Warblade miniseries written by John Ridley with art from Simon Bisley from 2004, I think it is, that is hilariously ridiculous and also very entertaining. John Ridley.
Oh, no shit. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yes, he also did a an Authority graphic novel with Ben Oliver called... oh crap, I don't remember the name, but it'll come to me in a second. Anyway, they're at the art gallery meeting with Reno Bryce, and naturally Marlowe is not pleased to see their idiots on the Crisis Ave team. They're asking if they can get some kind of reconnaissance team to capture or retake Cole, but of course Marlowe is not having any of that shit because Cole is just about as expendable as he can possibly be. Zana then decides that the best way to save her fallen teammate is to just head there herself, but of course she won't be able to do that while still a member of the team, so she decides then and there to resign. But Ladytron stops her right before she can do anything too drastic and informs her that a dead body has Shiloh building and is none other than Mr. Cole Cash himself. So yeah, I don't know. Crazy stuff is going on in the world of the WildCATS, and it seems like the stakes are continuing to escalate with each issue, so who knows where we'll be next week, assuming Cole is somehow able to pull through death, which I'm sure he'll be fine. This is superhero comics after all, but aside from that, pretty fun issue. Definitely a little jumpy. I mean, just moving back and forth between the Zana story and the Cole story, and also the brief glimpse into the Seven Soldiers of Victory. It's a lot of moving around. It's a lot of characters, and I could definitely feel that at times a bit. But aside from that, I thought it was pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one. And I really, really hope that the Reno Bryce cameo is not just a fun Easter egg, because I would love to see him suit up as Warblade again. But yeah, this got an 8.25 out of 10 for me.
I'm curious to see how Cole Cash is going to get out of this one, if he does. But like you said, it's Hero Comics, so most likely he's going to be.
Yeah, we already talked about the Robot Chicken sketch last week. We already know. Yeah.
Which, by the way, now that I've seen it, that's freaking fantastic.
Right?
Green Arrow just sitting in the back at his own funeral. That was great. Yeah, I was kind of thrown for a loop, though. I wish it started a little bit differently, though I get why they started it where they did with Cole. Because the last we saw, he was just falling out of a sky. Out of the sky. And
Right, and here we see
no
him land.
parachute. Yeah, and he's just fighting soldiers now. Like, he didn't even explain how he landed. He just like, I was falling out of the sky, now I'm here fighting people. Like, okay, but how did the fuck that happen? How are you alive? I want to know
It's
that.
cold cash, man.
He gave us a cliffhanger, and then you forget it even happened.
Very often.
So that's a gripe for me. I do love the subtle comedy in this book. Like, he's just going around fighting soldiers, and then all of a sudden, oh great, now there's ninjas. Like, what? why are there ninjas? Yeah, art's really good, characters are fun, story's great. 8.75 out of 10.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna say it's pretty safe to say that Grifter will make it through being dead. My fingers are crossed that he will not wake up with his psychic powers or anything. I think that shit's better off left way back. But Rosenberg, man, he just nails the dynamic of the entire team. These characters, he writes them like he was the one that wrote the first 12 issues. I mean, and I say that not as a comparison, but just to say that it feels like he loves these characters. And I love how nuts this book gets without losing the ability to make sense. It's gorgeous, of course, especially with Segovia on the art, and I do like the colors for the most part, though they are a little too rigid in places with a lot of light and shadow. I am really looking forward to what comes next, and what for certain will be Cole's fate. I won't say that it's impossible for him to die, but I will say it's very unlikely right now. I give it an 8.25 out of 10.
Right on. With that, there's no clear transition. We're gonna jump right into Batgirls. I couldn't even pre-rec one because I couldn't think of a connection between the WildCATS and Batgirls.
From people who don't like their name to people who share one.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, actually. All right, this is Batgirls number 15, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with art from Neil Googe, letters from Frank Zvetkovic, and a beautiful cover from Jorge Corona and Sarah Stern. And I'm honestly just noticing that this has an age rating on it. I don't think I noticed that on previous covers. It says teen, 13
I think
plus.
they are starting to. I think they're starting to make those prominent again.
Yeah. That makes sense. No, I am surprised this is... Oh, yeah, no, I could see how this is a 13 plus book. Anyway, I digress.
Well, I mean, every book this week has the rating on the cover, so...
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, so picking up where we last left off, well, kind of. It is earlier as Cass is racing through a forest on her motorcycle to save Steph from her father, the Cluemaster. We then see Cluemaster and Stephanie basically having, what the hell's the word? A talk off, like, oh my god.
Some father-daughter catch-up time.
No, what's that thing where, like, villains will monologue about their plans?
It's their monologue.
Villain speech?
Eh?
Villain speech? But is there a word for it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, exposition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, is that it? No, fuck it, I don't remember.
It's called a stupid mistake. I mean, why would you tell your plan to somebody that isn't dead yet? Anything can happen. You would think that these people know that by now.
Well, Goldfinger, you expect me to die? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to be safe out of this elaborate trap that is very easily escapable. Mwahaha. Anyway, this is not a very easily escapable trap, as Clue Master's got a gun. And not just any gun, his family's heirloom gun, which even his great-grandfather had during the war, and was passed down through generations, and one day hoped to pass it on to his little girl, but might be instead passing something else through his little girl out of the gun, because he's a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's all going to be decided by a trivia game, because he's Clue Master, called Dead Wrong. And this is all about whether or not you can answer the right questions, complete with their own categories. Fuck, this man is insane. Like, of all the psychopathic Batman villains, I never would have thought Clue Master would have been one of the worst. In terms of being just insane, and like deranged. I never would have guessed Clue Master. I honestly would have put Condiment King above Clue Master, because who in their right mind will go rob a bank with ketchup and mustard?
Well, someone who would reach in through the drive-thru of a McDonald's before they would go to Gander Mountain and buy some bullets. That's who. Got to figure stealing ketchup packets from McDonald's is way cheaper than getting ammo. That's all I'm saying.
To be fair, it's free. Is it really even stealing?
We'll leave that up to the professionals to decide.
I want to meet these professionals. What kind of job do you have? I want this job. Anyway.
They all start off interning for Condiment King. I don't know if you want that job.
Oh, those kind of okay, criminal professional. They meant the kind of professionals that decide whether stealing ketchup is a crime.
There's those two. Who knows? I think that's the IRS.
Food detectives. Which that's just the plot to Chew from John Layman.
My.
Oh my. Yes. So. That was a good book. I don't know if you guys ever read that. I loved that book.
I had to after you recommended it as one of your favorite runs ever. So I went out and grabbed it up, man. Good stuff. Good stuff.
You liked it, yeah?
I did, yeah. Not your typical comic book, but a good read nonetheless.
Yeah. Very interesting story, especially how it ends. Just a bit of a piss off, but what can you do? Anyways, that's an entirely different book. We're talking about Batgirls. So Clue Master is asking some questions, and no matter what she says, it's wrong. So he shocks her with electricity. Not a surprise.
Wrong villain.
Yep. That's Electrocutioner. I'm never going to get through this book, because now I'm thinking of that Spider-Man the Animated Series clip with the shocker. You can run, Clue Master. I will chase you to the ends of the earth.
Oh my god. Christopher Daniel Barnes.
Shocker.
The only Spider-Man for me.
Yep. That's a fantastic cartoon and a fantastic episode.
Chase you to the ends of the earth.
Oh, fucking hell. Some masterclass in voice acting.
Really giving it his all.
Yep. All right, so as that goes on and Steffi keeps answering questions wrong for Clue Master, I wanted to call him Chuck Brown, but no, that's Kite Man. Sorry?
Arthur Brown.
Arthur Brown, thank you. Keeps shocking her, and to the point that she is left to tears as Batgirl comes crashing in through a window, helping to save Steph once and for all. But Clue Master has left some traps, but Cass, being the expert ninja that she is able to dodge pretty much all of them, frees Steph, and Clue Master is just about had enough. They begin to put the beat down on him, but he has one more failsafe up his sleeve, pushes a button which blows up part of the cabin that they are in, leaving the three of them surrounded by fire and smoke. And as Cluemaster raises the pistol in his hand towards Cass, Steph pushes her out of the way and takes the bullet right in the chest. To which, I was thinking, finally, Steph is saved. She's not going to die. Oh, wait. Never mind. I spoke too soon. And then Cass is holding her as her eyes go limp, or her eyes go pale, her hand goes limp, and blood is pouring out of her chest. The end.
Liar.
That's right, I'm a liar. Because, as was conveniently placed last issue, Cass has a vial of Lazarus serum in her utility belt. Drops just a little bit into Steph's mouth, which miraculously brings her directly back to life. And because she is kind of freshly dead, we'll say mostly dead, he's partially alive, it will not really have any bad side effects. So now with the two Batgirls safe and alive, they take Arthur Brown down, call the cops, get him arrested, and the pair zoom off back to Gotham City, where Arthur is just kind of done. He realizes how horrible of a parent he is, and all the bad things he's done to Steph, and just doesn't want to do any of this anymore. As you see in Arkham Tower a week later, he doesn't even want to help with therapy. Meanwhile, back at the loft, Steph and Cass are kind of just having a little pal out on the roof of their building, drinking some cocoa and having some good times together. Meanwhile, at Grace O'Halloran's apartment, there's a knock at the door, and as she's saying, "No, I gotta sleep, I got a podcast in the morning," she sees a note with a bloody statue bust. I don't recognize the person, with an envelope that says "Read Me" and a nice, neat little bow on top of the head. Next, there's a very important date. Don't be late. That's a hint, because they're hinting at the Mad Hatter. At least that's what I'm taking.
Yeah. Now, for that bust that you said, I wasn't sure that I was looking at a bust. It almost looked like a head that was
like
mounted
severed
to look like a bust. Yeah. But
oh god, I hope not.
What'd you think, man? Did you like it?
I liked it. Thank Highfather Cassie's alive too, because that would have been not good.
No.
I am honestly just guessing and assuming that it's Mad Hatter. They did seem to drop a lot of hints, like Cluemaster mentioning haberdashery. The next issue is a very important date. The calligraphy on the envelope saying "Read Me" is very old school, which is totally Mad Hatter style. So I think that's going to be our next villain for the arc.
And the cops flat out ask Cluemaster if he's familiar with Tetch.
Yeah, that too. So it seems like that's going to be the next thing. And Cluemaster did also kind of allude to the fact that Tetch had something to do with his resurrection, and I know he kind of went into some detail about his resurrection, but it was still kind of vague about why and how he was chosen to be brought back. As for the issue, though, I enjoyed it. I think it was a nice end of the arc. Not much really else to say about it. It was very simple in a way, but 8.75 out of 10, I really didn't hate it. I think it was a good issue.
I mean, I suppose it's a solid wrap up for the Cluemaster story. The art looks really good. It has definitely found its footing with the art. It's been staying there, which is a really good thing for me because I hated it at first. I'm guessing that either Cluemaster is either coming back into play soon, or he was just a plot device that we can lock away just to link Jervis Tetch to the story. No, I do remember Flu Master using the word haberdashery, but everything else involving touch happened out of away from the Batgirls. Yet afterward, they bring him up. So I don't remember Tetch being involved, except there's this nagging thing in the back of my head, and I have not gone back. I have not gone back and looked it up, but I feel like back in the Spellbinder arc, there was a mention of Mad Hatter. But I'm not 100%.
Well, maybe.
Overall, shitty memory aside, this was not a bad one. Not a stellar one, but not a bad one at all. It was definitely a fun read. Brandon, I hope you know whether or not that touch idea was right, but I gave this a 7.75 out of 10.
Yeah, I didn't really have a ton of thoughts on this one. It was just a solid wrap up, I guess. I was kind of very much over another Clue Master Steph story because I kind of felt like we've done that to death. So I'm glad this is over. Yeah, I mean, a Mad Hatter story could be interesting. There have been ones that are pretty good and ones that are pretty average, so I'm hoping this one falls on the better side. But
do you remember
7.5 out of 10 for me?
Do you remember Tetch being brought up, the Mad Hatter being brought up back during the Spellbinder arc or around that time for some reason? Or am I thinking?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of something else.
But it was recently.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned at one point or another.
Just like some kind of one. Oh, I think I know when. It was when they met with the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll find out soon enough. What was the score you gave it, Brandon?
Something.
Yeah, he was in something at some point somewhere.
Yeah, it was in Arkham City most recently. No, I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. The weakest part for me is the art. I can't stand Neil Gaiman's art.
See, and I think it's better than how the series started out. That's funny.
Before we continue, I just ran into some more news of another announcement for a title, which, considering the solicits are most likely coming out tomorrow, we're going to get a lot more info about them tomorrow. A new Peacemaker series coming out in May, and it's being dubbed a adults only Peacemaker series called Peacemaker Tries Hard.
Oh boy, I can only imagine what that's going to be like.
Yeah. It comes from Kyle Stark, Steve Pugh, and Jordi Belair.
I did see that the season 2 of Peacekeeper is going to be is happening, but it's been pushed back until after the first season of Waller.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, sounds good.
Oh, I did have a piece of personal news. I forgot. I had to get a new gaming chair. Why, you ask? Sure. Don't worry, I will tell you. About, I want to say it was 5 days ago. Yeah, because of shipping and stuff. So 5 days ago, I go to sit down in my chair, and the son of a bitch just completely moved forward. Just dumped me right on the fucking floor. So as I'm looking it up, because the chair was only 2 years old and I knew I had a 3-year warranty on it, I write people. I'm like, dude, I'm 220 pounds. This is ridiculous. Yada yada yada. First email back: the chair that you had purchased is only rated at 170 pounds.
Why would any gamer chair be rated that late?
That's what I'm saying. It's for an 11-year-old.
The average gamer these days?
I guess not. But this tubby fucker is rated at 330, so it's 100 pounds over me. I'm good.
Right on.
So I am seated and I Am Batman, number 18.
Yes.
Written by John Ridley, Christian Deuce, Christian Deuce, Edward. I can't talk at all. Written by John. I'm just gonna start from scratch now. Written by John Ridley, Christian Deuce, Eduardo Pansica, and Julio Fiera on art. There, I did it. Rex Locus on colors and lettering from Tori Patiri. So we are starting right off in the crap storm that the last issue left us in, with Jace, Tiff, and Jace's birth mom all about to go and die when the question shows up. Well, Hadia as the question, hopefully full time at this point. And with some smoke bombs and a bulletproof jacket, she levels the playing field, or helps anyways. The cop shows up. King's men are losing, but King only cares about his men killing Batman and him killing the hostage, which is Jace's birth mom. Which is what King goes to do, and he walks up to her. She had been prying the access panel off of a junction box, and she used that to reach back and slash him across the face. He's not a fan of that, as you might imagine. So she runs, and he goes after her, and then Batman shows up. And true to his recent actions, he grabs him and he starts to pummel him in the face until somebody stops him. I think this is a new I Am Batman trademark. So it's his biological mother that stops him, and then he reveals his identity to her. And later they talk about things and maybe making a relationship. Flip to Jace moving out of the Fox home, and what I'm assuming is likely into the Helix, which is their Batcave. Tiff and Hadia are going to be brought into Chubb's costumed hero task force. I can't remember what her task force is named, but let's go with that. There is still no code name for Tiff yet, but it was brought up, and she is definitely sidekick status now, looking pretty badass riding alongside her brother. And though the question is an ally, she is doing her own thing. However, all three are on the task force, so that's cool. The art and the colors are fucking awesome. They're really good. Even with three artists on it, it works really well. And Ridley is just really pulling this series off. I'm a fan, and I feel like it mostly just keeps getting better and better. And getting a team together in New York, a Bat team, if you will, that's pretty cool, especially with Hadia saying that she both is and isn't the same question as before. So that's got me very curious. When Chubb had mentioned it, she said yes and no. Unless that is just a weak way to say that she was given the question by Montoya, which I feel is what like everybody knew, so why bother saying that? I hope it means something else, but altogether, man, book is super good, and I love it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. What about you, Brandon? I think Rob's adjusting his action figures.
No.
I
was muted.
I am still can still continue to be very bored by this book, and this issue was really no exception. Pretty much the only thing I have to say is at least it's the last one, so it's over.
Well then. That's funny because the first note I had is, I want more. Don't end it here. Wait, do you have a score?
I don't know, 6 out of 10. I kind of was like, okay, I have to read this, so here we go.
Fair enough.
You
I thought it was really cool.
Super happy about it.
Yeah, no, I was very interested in it.
I thought it was really cool to see that Jace has kind of formed his own team. But man, I don't think it's fair to end it. It's been a hell of a run. It's been really interesting. I'm really invested in Jace's journey and his story. especially now with so many changes that have happened in even just the last issue. It's so cool. What's that?
You said that, and up until that point, I completely forgot that this is the last fucking issue.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you remembered that or not.
No, I did not fucking remember that. Thanks for... Well, you know what? That put me in a bad mood.
Oh, shit.
But thank you for saving it until after I wrote my reviews.
There we go. All right. Yeah. I scored it an 8.5. I really did enjoy it. I just wish it wasn't the end, because it's not great to end it. It was a good ending because it just leaves stuff open. It was still a good book. I don't know. I'm kind of hurt by the fact that it's over. So I scored it a little less. Saying. I don't know.
It's got so much set up, so much potential. It's finally exactly where it needs to be the Batman of New York, and now it's fucking canceled, and that's sad because I have not read his entire catalog. I started pulling up some titles after Brandon had mentioned what was it? Human on the Inside, the Authority trade, or the Authority graphic novel.
That's the graphic novel.
I'm seeing a few of the things that he's done, so I'm definitely going to be checking out a few of those.
Yeah. After reading the foreword that John Ridley had put in, that he wrote for DC Power, where he talked about how he came to be writing I Am Batman and what that represented, and what that meant even to his own kid, and how his kid basically helped evolve the story too, with the reveal of Jace's biological mother. It got me even more invested in it, and there was only one issue left. It's just so disappointing that it's done. Oh man. What can you do? At least somebody here is happy it's over.
Yep. I mean, I guess. I know it's
a weird feeling that like two of us are in love with the book and upset about it, and then one didn't like the book and is kind of happy about it.
I would dare say glad it's going away so he doesn't have to read it anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Brandon's too nice to go on a rant for it, so I guess is it time to move on?
I don't care enough about it to even rant.
Ouch! See how fucking mean he can get.
Yeah, this isn't. I mean, I could rant. Like I ranted about Tim Drake because that's something that it's a character I cared about. But like this book literally is. It's like it's not even wallpaper. It's like birdcage liner. It's just there.
Damn.
Not even like. I guess birdcage liner would be better than like bonfire kindle,
I suppose.
Yeah. Always try to look on the bright side. Always try to find the good in things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody shits in your dreams. At least it's worse or better than something else. Anyway. Yeah, that's our books. It's been an interesting selection this week, I would say. And we're going to see exactly how that translates with our top 3 of the week and favorite moment if we had one. Brandon, why don't you start us off?
Sure thing. At number 3, I would probably put Danger Street number 3. I did actually dig this issue. At number 2, I would probably have Swamp Thing Green Hell. But for my favorite book this week, I'll give it to WildCATS, which I admit was a little jumpy in places, but probably the one I had the most fun with. My favorite moment this week is the last page from Swamp Thing Green Hell. For anyone to say, it's to some ends for Flemir's run on Animal Man.
Oh,
Right on.
you stole my favorite moment. I loved that moment so much that I didn't even pick a backup. Damn it. All right. I'll work on it. My top three, WildCats was narrowly beat out by Batman Inc. I loved both of them equally, but Batman Inc. was the wrap up of a storyline, and I appreciated that. And WildCats, the only negative real thing that I could come up with there was the jumpiness that Brandon had mentioned, so that knocked it down just out of reach. So Batman Inc. for number 3. Number 2 is gonna go to Swamp Thing Green Hell number 2. That shit was awesome. It looked awesome. It read awesome. I'm dying to get number 3. And then number 1 went to I Am Batman, and I am sad. I am sad, man, that Batman is gone. God damn it. Again, my favorite moment as well was Animal Woman showing up at the end of Green Hell. It got me so excited for the next issue to find out what the hell is going on. But since Brandon already took that one, I'm going to say the last page of I Am Batman with Batman and Tiff riding off in the moonlight to fight crime together. I thought that was awesome, and I'm so seriously fucking disappointed that this is it, that this is done.
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of that bad news.
If I had to pick one, and don't get me wrong, GCPD Blue Wall is a fantastic book, but if I had to pick one to get rid of, it would be Blue Wall over Batman. Like 10 times out of 10.
That'd be a hard choice for me. I don't know. They're both really good. I might agree with you there just slightly. After hearing both your top threes, I'm very excited for the biggest stinker because I can guarantee all three of us have a different one, and I think that's the first time. That's the first time in a long time that all three of us will have had a different biggest stinker. But before we do that, my top three, at number 3, I had WildCats. Number 4, lots of fun there. Number 2, I had Batman Beyond the White Knight. Number 8, great ending to the series, especially with the promise of more. Number 1, I had Swamp Thing Green Hell. Number 2, hell of a read. I think that's the... Oh, no, WildCats. I was going to say, that's the only book that made all 3 of our top 3 lists, I think. But I think WildCats... No, WildCats just barely made yours. Number 4 spot, I think you said, Josh. As for favorite moments, I kind of mentioned it during my review. I was going to have when Cole that just brought up the fact that ninjas appeared out of nowhere. It's like, oh great, now there's ninjas. I thought that was a lot of fun. But instead, I'm gonna go with Batman Beyond the White Knight number 8, where the Bat family is taking the fight directly to Powers International, and they're just swarming together as one big unit, as a family. You see Terry gliding through the sky, and Bruce and Harley in the Batmobile, the 1989 Batmobile of all things, being held up by the Batman Beyond Batmobile, and just being piloted by Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, and Terry's just gliding alongside these two. It's such a hell of an image. I almost squealed on the bus. It was really cool to see. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to take it for me. That would be my favorite moment. God, I want that.
Understandable.
Yeah. All right. So that was our favorite moments and books. Now it's time for your favorite moments. It is.
Oh, that's nasty.
I kind of want to go last, just because mine's kind of out there.
Well, mine's out there too because I'm literally the only person on the planet apparently that doesn't like this book. But it's like putting on golf to fall asleep, man, and it's Danger Street. It's not that it's a bad story. It's not that it's a bad premise. It's just You know those really super long scenic descriptions by Stephen King and Anne Rice that you can skip 4 pages through and still get everything? Yeah, that's what this book is. It's just those pages you would skip. Everybody else loves it though. So, but yeah, that's what's on my stink list.
Fair enough. I think we can kind of guess Brandon's.
My runner-up is Tim Drake's last book.
Yeah, no, probably I Am Batman for this week.
Yeah. Fair enough. And for me, I had actually Batman Inc. number 5.
Really?
Yeah. That's how mine's kind of out there. I was going through the list and just like, out of all the books, that's the one that kind of disappointed me the most. It got the lowest score and was seriously just underwhelming for me. I just didn't care for it. The whole run so far has just been kind of underwhelming for me. I'm not in love with it. I'm really hoping the next arc picks up.
Well, fine, be that way.
I will.
Wait, sorry, what was your pick again?
Batman Inc.
Oh, okay.
Brandon has no problems believing that.
I'm expecting a lengthy message later after the show from Brandon just saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you hate Batman Inc.? No, this is why you should love it."
Oh, that sounds something like more what I would say. Like, Jesus Christ, is he writing half a book? He wrote a fucking novella. I think there's like 80 pages here. And that is why Discord has a word limit.
Because Josh goes on rants.
Because people like me.
All right. Well, with that, is there any last minute ideas, thoughts, provocations, complaints, strongly worded letters, anything?
H.
That's a good letter. It's a very strong
letter.
Yeah. The beginning of many good words.
Other than that, no, man. I think that is it.
Right on. Sorry, you said H, and I was just thinking, oh, it's even constructed well. Like, if it was a building, it'd be real. It's strong in construction, but that's okay. My mind started wandering. I need to stop. Okay, so that is our show. Remember, you can help support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcast. Check us out on Twitter at NotARobotComics, Instagram at NAR Comic Books, and subscribe to our Substack for bonus reviews, articles, and more. And as always, there's only one way we say goodbye around here. Until next time,
be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.